In this video, we will go through the capabilities in Redwood Finance Automation around task management. Task management is composed of three different areas. We will look at the closed dashboard, which will visualize closed tasks, when they're due, who's responsible for them. We'll also look at individuals working with the solution to complete both semi-automated tasks, see any automated tasks that may have been complete on the user's behalf, and also how they can work with manual tasks. And then finally, we'll wrap it up by looking at how tasks can be orchestrated, being given instructions on how to run, when to run, managing SLAs, and creating dependencies inside of a hierarchy that's easy and simple to manage across your organization. So the first area we will talk about is the dashboarding capabilities in task management. As you'll see, the first dashboard that we have pulled up is around the period close summary. Basically, you have filters across the top to change the views if you want to look at a specific company code or process, a specific workday, or go back in time and look at periods that may have already been completed. You also have filtering capability over here on the left-hand side where you can change the status. You can look at a particular supervisor or drill into the tasks as it pertains to a particular owner. Really, everywhere that you see information or data within this dashboard can be used as a filter. So for example, if I wanted to look at this individual's overdue task, I could simply click on this information and change the detail below and all the other related statistics to this particular individual and overdue tasks. There's also views for individuals. So if someone simply wants to see the tasks that they have to do for the day, they can go in here and create their own dashboards and look at things such as, what do I have to do today? And then specifically for an individual, how many tasks do I have and what are the dependencies, both the predecessors and successors for those tasks? I have the ability directly from this list to drill into the details of the tasks that I need to perform. In this case, you'll see that I have to complete a task around a leave accrual. And this is an example of a task that has been mostly automated. This is simply looking for an approval from a manager. So with one click, I can go into the details, which will basically give me the instructions or the parameters that are used for this task. I can see the status. I know that this is a to-do task and it's waiting. I can also look at information such as what part of the organization this impacts, potentially which ERP this impacts, and then timing information. Timing information will show when the task was supposed to start, when the task actually started, any duration, and that timing information can be used to measure on SLAs to determine whether the task was actually completed within the allotted time. The user will also receive information such as what is required of the individual around this task. So in this case, again, we can see that the instructions are clear. I need to approve this accrual. I can look at the information at the bottom. Any instructions that I need will be referenced down here, or any notes or files that are needed for me to make my decision to approve this particular journal entry. Now, as we talked about before, this is task management, but the majority of the manual effort has been done for this individual. Let me explain. In this case, instead of the individual going out and pulling data from a salary perspective or data around the remaining PTO or holidays that an individual might have, and then populating a spreadsheet or creating the calculations for this, since this task was automated, automation has already gone and pulled the necessary data from two different sources. It's done the calculation, and it's actually sent to the user the journal entry voucher in Excel, so this individual simply has to look at the supporting documentation, look at the journal voucher, confirm that the information is correct, and then actually approve this journal entry directly from here. Now you'll notice once the user clicks confirm, they have the ability to add notes, but more importantly, it's going to tell you when this user performed what action and at what time. And this is important from audit perspective later if you want to recreate this task and what actually I did in order to confirm the automation that was presented to me. Again, you can have any attachments that you need to add for additional support or add any additional notes as it pertains to this task. Let's look at the example of some other types of tasks that may be required by a user in the application. Every user has an inbox, and the inbox is going to list things that need to be done. Any task that has a check mark by it is confirmed that the task has already been complete. Anything with the yellow triangle would represent a task that needs to be done. And like we mentioned before, the majority of tasks within the solution will be fully automated, meaning that the user may not even touch it. In the case of our journal entry, it required an approval as a control step, so the heavy lifting or the manual effort was completed by automation and the individual just needed to approve the journal in this case. In some cases, it doesn't make sense for a task to be automated at all. So within the solution, you can also have manual tasks. An example of a manual task would be something that I need to complete. It's going to be in to do, it's in my inbox, and there may be other tasks that are dependent on me completing this task. So for example, I can see that there are several different manual tasks that are related to me reviewing potential assets for their disposals. In this case, I'm simply going to get the list of instructions. I could have any reference material, and it's my job to open the attachment or the reference material, make my decision or my judgment, and simply confirm at this point. If there are other tasks that are dependent on me completing this task, as soon as I'm done, the other task will then start. And again, that task could either be fully automated or could require some type of human intervention depending on the tasks. And finally, let's look at task orchestration. And what this does is it gives you the ability to simply run your entire close directly from this task list. So right here I have a close that I've set up with the different milestones. And if I'm ready to start this, I could simply click submit and I could submit my entire close, or this could be automated and scheduled to run at a particular time of day. If I look at how this task is organized, I can see that I'm simply creating a hierarchy that represents my EMEA Regional Shared Services. So within this top lever node of the hierarchy, I can see that there's descriptions, a time when it's expected to start or it's scheduled. It's going to manage if there's an SLA that it goes longer than expected. And I can set up different milestones that I can use for filtering, such as what part of the organization is this for, which ERP system, or really any other parameter that needs to be managed. Parameters are essentially user-defined fields, so anything that you need in order to run this close for this shared service center can be defined and managed within this screen here. Now, if I drill down further, I can see how this is actually organized. So from this perspective, I've got particular countries that are underneath my shared service center. I have particular company codes, I have processes, and then sub-processes. So these sub-processes are how your tasks are actually organized. So in this case, for example, we can see that my sub-process asset closed, there's one task that is not dependent, it's going to run regardless. However, I have other tasks that if I highlight those, it will show me all the different tasks that are related, either as successors or predecessors for this task. These tasks, as we showed in the inbox, can either be fully manual, meaning a person will get a notification, they read the instructions, attach the support, confirm the task is complete, even have an approver look at it, and then the visualization or the dashboard will reflect the status of that particular task. But what's different about Finance Automation by Redwood is we look at these as opportunities for full automation, whereas we don't have to rely on timings or individuals completing tasks necessarily, and this task can really run, or these closed tasks can really run hands-free. So you have an autonomous close. When I click on any of the individual tasks underneath this sub-process, for example, now I can see the attributes or the parameters that are related specifically to this task. I can also see the number of times that this type of task occurs in different areas. So there are 3 instances of this first depreciation run that run in 3 different parts of my shared service center organization. Maybe they're different countries or different regions. If I need to make changes to all 3 of those, I can highlight all 3, make one change. Or I also have the ability, if I'm opening up a asset close, for example, underneath another shared service center, to right-click simply on this node of the hierarchy, copy the entire sub-process for asset close, and then I can open that up as part of another regional shared service center, change the parameters, and I'm set. I'm ready to run this part of my close. And this is true for any part of the orchestration here that you see on the left-hand side. Dependencies can also be managed. You can simply manage those over here, or you can drag and drop different dependencies to different nodes to create the predecessors and successors for certain tasks. So this has been an overview of task management within the Redwood Finance Automation solution. We talked about visualizing the status of your close by looking at individual supervisors, filtering in a certain way, and creating the detailed list of that information, having the ability to drill through to the underlying tasks to see status, SLA, ERP, organization, including the message in any part of the tasks that have been automated. We also talked about how the users have the ability to drill into an inbox that has all the information as to those items which now needs their attention. And we talked about orchestrating tasks. The important piece to remember is that we're not just managing the task in this case. We really want to have a hands-free, fully automated close and only use individuals where it's absolutely possible for control, judgments, approvals, things of that sort. Feel free to check on the channel frequently as we will be posting other videos. We have videos around Redwood Finance Automation's capabilities for journal entry and for balance sheet reconciliation.